This is Bloomberg Crypto, a daily Bloomberg iHeart podcast, and I'm Stacey Marie Ishmael, managing editor of crypto for Bloomberg News. It's Monday, December 26th.
I'm Philip Lagerkranser, in today for Stacey Marie Ishmael. Well, it's been an extremely messy month or so in crypto since Sam Bankman-Fried's exchange FTX collapsed. But today, we're going to talk about something entirely different. We're going to talk about an NFT vending machine. You heard me right. An NFT vending machine. For you listeners who are new to crypto, NFT stands for non-fungible tokens, which are assets that, like Bitcoin, live on a blockchain and cannot be copied, changed, or replaced. They were all the rage last year, but this year, prices have come falling down along with the rest of crypto. But what if you could buy an NFT from a vending machine? Earlier this year, a machine just like that popped up in central London. The company behind this vending machine, called myNFT, said the goal was to eliminate any barriers to entry when it comes to buying NFTs. Hugo McDonaugh, the CEO and co-founder of myNFT, joins us today.
For us, the vending machine initiative was really about trying to just show people that this isn't a very scary technology that is inaccessible.
Along with Bloomberg reporter Tanzeel Ahktar.
And people couldn't choose what the piece of art would be, right? So it was like a lucky dip. So it's literally like you just put in a tenner, pay a tenner, and you get what you get.
Hugh, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And Taz, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Phil. Good to be on the show with you and Hugo.
I am excited. Hugh, can you briefly tell us a little bit what you do and what your background is, and how did you get into crypto?
Sure. So I've been in crypto for almost a decade now. Started with Bitcoin. But the beginnings for me was I was working in banking. It was my first job. We had a CPD meeting, and there was a young guy who stood up and was talking about Bitcoin in the very early days. I think it was sort of $80 at the time or something. And he pointed me towards the white paper and I read it. And from that point on, I was basically a convert. I was supremely interested in the idea of a peer-to-peer currency, a trustless form of exchange. And that was really where it began for me.
And now NFTs?
Yeah. So in 2017, when NFTs were just sort of coming onto the horizon on Ethereum. There had been some experimentations before on Counterparty, on Bitcoin and colored coins and these kinds of things. But I guess it really started moving on Ethereum in 2017 with the advent of CryptoPunks. And then we had CryptoKitties, which was the first sort of hype cycle, if you will, of NFTs. And it was at that time that myself and my two other co-founders, Edouard and Guillaume, started really looking at the NFT technology side of this whole crypto world. And that really excited us because, in my view, I think one day every single non-fungible asset in the world will have a token to represent its value, its authenticity, its trading capability, all of these things. And so we wanted to sort of be a part of that future or create something or system that would help make that a reality. And then even more recently, after 2 or 3 years of playing around in the space and learning all of the hurdles that everyone else is coming across, poor UX, clunky UI, steep learning curve, crazy gas fees, scalability issues. We sort of took all of this learning and we've tried to solve all of these problems in a new product that we're releasing called myNFT.com.
Exciting. And that brings us to this point in time in crypto. If I would say it's been quite a year, what would you say?
I would definitely agree.
$2 trillion free fall rattles crypto to the core.
And I think crypto has wiped out a lot of people in the past couple of months. You can take the Luna example.
Bitcoin down sharply.
The collapse of 3 Hours Capital.
The bankruptcy of Celsius and Voyager.
The fall of FTX. So we did have Genesis as well saying that it's basically looking for $1 billion or more. Otherwise, it could also be filing for bankruptcy.
And some seem to think that the NFT hype is slowing down. Like if you look at the average trading volume, it's dropping. How do you make
I guess
sense
it depends
of
on who you're talking to. There's a lot of people who are probably licking their wounds, wondering what's going on. Don't want to get involved in this space again if this was the first cycle that they were in. But then there's a lot of people that have been here for a while and understand these movements. And I think you have to look at it in the context of any sort of game-changing, paradigm-shifting technology that comes to the fore, how it works. And booms and busts and natural bubble cycles are it was a part of the dot-com, it was a part of the railroad in the US, it's a part of huge technology changes because of human behavior and excitement and these kinds of things. So yeah, I mean, this year there's been a whole bunch of bankruptcies that have caused contagion and knock-on effects. But I think that the thing that comes out of this is better for the industry. The uncertainty gets taken out of the industry and more certainty gets put back in. The people who really want to build value get found and the capital begins to flow into those rather than the more speculative projects. And also it'll pave the way for some form of, sensible regulatory framework perhaps, but, we'll see.
And so in the midst of this, I guess we can call it broadly chaos right now. In the midst of this chaos, you guys put up an NFT machine in London.
We did.
Bad timing, right, Hugo?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see... timing is definitely a thing, but in the world of startups, I don't really... timing can be very valuable at times, but it's really just how long you can survive and how long you keep going. So I'm not a huge... I don't sort of put a whole amount of stock in timing. But for us, yeah, the vending machine initiative was really about trying to just show people that this isn't a very scary technology that is inaccessible. There is ways you can make it more accessible. And it was really just a way to try and sort of educate people on what NFTs were and show them that, with your card, you can, do £10 on contactless and get an NFT card, scan it, redeem it on the myNFT site. And then you're in the world of being able to transact with a non-custodial wallet into the world of NFTs. And, we also raising money for charity and, trying to just help sort of spread the word and have a bit of fun, really. And so, yeah, I mean, for us, it was actually it was a great success. We sold one NFT every 2 minutes. The machine even went down because the vending machine payment services provider couldn't handle the volume.
I did speak to a few people on the ground who had purchased a couple of NFTs, and they did say the platform was a little bit like there's some issues around actually downloading. Yeah. So
it was in alpha essentially.
Yeah.
And the redemption process, there were some hiccups on the database with our side of making it as fluid as possible, but we resolved them as time was going on.
And so the way that it worked, just for the very uninitiated, is basically you pay, what is it? Is it £10?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you pay £10. You get a card out of the vending machine. You scan the card. Yep. That card takes you to myNFT where you sign up. Once you're signed up, you're given a non-custodial wallet for you to be able to participate in the world of Web3. And then you redeem the NFT that you got from the card, and that's automatically sent to your wallet. And then you can do what you like with it.
And how many did you sell during the 2 days the machine was on site?
I think we did about 400 NFTs or 390, something like that.
And people couldn't choose what the piece of art would be, right? So it was like a lucky dip. So it's literally like you just put in a tenner, pay a tenner, and you get what you get.
Yeah. So we got a whole bunch of artists together that from different networks, because we're a multi-chain marketplace that we really liked, and we got them to donate their works into the vending machine. And so it was really a lucky dip in many ways as to what piece of art from what artist you were going to get.
So will those NFTs be tradable or valuable in the future?
So they're all ERC 721 or type or standards that are similar to them depending on the chain. So once they're in your wallet, as the owner of it, you can do what you like with it. So you could resell it if you wish to. You could hold on to it forever. You could collect other pieces from that artist. I mean, totally up to you.
And this machine, where does it live now? It's no longer where you put it up first, is it?
It is no longer where we put it up first. It was only there for a couple of days as part of the NFT London event, and to help obviously drive awareness around the technology and raise some money for some good causes. However, because it was so popular, we've had a huge amount of partners and people come to us asking for it to be at their events or to have it at some of their campuses and institutions.
And after the break, more from Bloomberg reporter Tanzeel Ahktar and myNFT CEO and co-founder Hugo McDonaugh on the future role of NFTs in society. We'll be right back. Taz, I wanted to come to you for a second. You've reported on and off of this market. What are your observations from this year? And more specifically, the UK Parliament was looking into NFTs as well, huh?
Yes. So day 2 of the event where you had your vending machine showcasing, Parliament released an inquiry into NFTs, which was interesting. So MPs are expected to consider whether NFT investors, especially vulnerable speculators, are put at risk by the market. So they were actually investigating the concept of NFTs, right? And that was interesting because obviously this space, ICOs, Bitcoin, crypto in general, is not very well regulated. And a lot of people enter the arena without having any idea of where they're putting their money. Obviously, Hugo, your vending machine is £10 a pop, but we've seen NFTs like Beeple, for example. He sold his NFT for what, 60 million? Dollars. And then you've got like Sotheby's, you've got like old school auction houses entering the arena. Then you've got you've got luxury brands as well selling NFTs for millions. So yeah, it's a market that's not very well regulated, should we say? So it's a new market.
Yeah, it's a good thing, Hugo, that UK politicians want to educate themselves around NFTs.
I think it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, innovation happens at 3-4 times the rate as regulation and government oversight, right? I mean, it's different paces of innovation. So, and I think there's a huge amount of room and opportunity for different countries that embrace this technology faster to be able to get one up on others. I saw a really interesting report recently from the Law Commission in the UK regarding sort of intellectual property rights and digital assets and how NFTs, for example, can represent entirely new kinds of property rights. And it was the first piece I'd read that was sort of produced by a government body that I found to be really quite engaging and like they'd done their homework. It was really interesting. And I think that the UK is well positioned to be able to really build some kind of framework or rules-based principles that will allow for businesses that are innovating in this space to flourish.
Before we close it off today, I want to circle back to this argument you made at the outset, and which is one that we've been hearing, a fair bit here at Bloomberg Crypto in the last couple of weeks. It's the idea of going through these boom and bust cycles, peeling off the rotten layers, I guess, or useless or less useful layers, maybe is a better way to frame it, and then to start building again. And I just wanted to sort of zero in on the building part. What kind of building do you see now? And what kind of building are you looking to do going forward?
It's probably a cliche these days in terms of the number of people who say it, but I do really think we are still in the very early stages of this industry, early internet times, 70s, 80s even. And the starting of this space was, building layer ones, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Polkadot, which is even a layer 0, it's connecting chains together, these kinds of things. And there's been a lot of innovation there. There's still a lot more to go. I mean, the blockchain trilemma of scalability, decentralization, and security is a really difficult problem to solve, and to solve well, to get something that is going to work for, the modern day world at scale in comparison to the likes of Visa and these kinds of things. And so there's been a lot of work building on that in the past few years. The move of Ethereum to proof of stake, for example, being a part of that. For us, I think where we're really interested in the future is this concept of multi-chain. So I personally think the world will evolve in this space where everybody will have their own blockchains, because the speed at which you can create layer ones, let's say, or blockchains, is getting easier and easier and easier. The barriers are getting lower. And so I think you'll have businesses with private blockchains. I think you'll have big, really decentralized public blockchains that might be a bit slower. And I think that what will end up happening is you'll need an internet of blockchains, and you'll need all of these worlds to talk to each other and to be able to interact with one another. And we're really interested in that future, because that's where I think the space is going. And so for us, when it comes to NFTs, it's about trying to be, multi-chain, and about creating a world where people can move their NFTs between blockchains seamlessly. and permissionlessly, for example, or being able to do something on one blockchain with this NFT and then it has an effect on another one because they're interconnected in some form. And there's been a lot of innovation in the space around this at the moment. The first versions of bridges, which have probably been talked about there because there's been a lot of security problems with bridges. There's been a lot of hacks in bridges. And bridges are a big target for hackers because they're a honeypot, essentially, where lots of capital ends up aggregating because of how bridges work. And so I think there's going to be a lot of innovation around that multi-chain concept over the next few years. And I think, there'll be a lot more innovation with what you can do with an NFT. At the moment, there's a lot of artwork and imagery, but, at the end of the day, it's a deed, it's a digital deed, it's a blank canvas in which you can program different kinds of value and different rules. And so I think a world where we'll start seeing new kinds of assets that exist in the traditional world being tokenized as NFTs, I think is going to start happening. And that will bring more liquidity to these fairly illiquid markets. And I think that'll be interesting, by reducing friction. And we're interested in that as well. We'd like to start innovating on that side of things as well.
So parting message, there's still a there.
Definitely. I think there's still a long way to go.
And on that note, Taz, Hugo, we're coming to the end of the show. Hugo, I want to thank you so much for coming on, and thank you, Taz.
Thanks, Hugo.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
You can find more of Tanzeel Ahktar's reporting on the Bloomberg terminal and on Bloomberg.com. And for more, be sure to check out our twice-weekly newsletter, Bloomberg Crypto.
This is Bloomberg Crypto, a daily podcast from Bloomberg and iHeartRadio. For more shows from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Send us your comments, questions, or suggestions for the show to crypto@bloomberg.net. The supervising producer of Bloomberg Crypto is Vicky Vergolina. Our senior producer is Janet Babin. Our producers are Mohammed Farouk and Sharon Barrero. Our associate producers are Ty Butler and Moses Undum. Desta Wonderad is our engineer. Original music by Leo Sidran. I'm Stacey Marie Ishmael. We'll be back tomorrow.